Hey there, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to come back with another video, especially about ableism in the workplace in general, and particularly throughout the application process and interviewing process and job hunting process. As a man with a disability who has a master's degree and several years of clinical experience as a therapist, um, you know, I've had several callbacks from jobs. Obviously to the naked eye on paper, I am very qualified for many, many, many positions throughout the entire workforce, particularly as a therapist. And I just want to talk about a few experiences that I have as a man with a disability going through that application process, and a few experiences I've had myself going through that process. So, first off, oftentimes when I get called back for an interview, or an email, whichever the way they choose, they're very impressed, quote unquote. That's in a lot of their emails. That's in a lot of their phone calls to me. And then generally, I have the interview, or the first interview, um, and I interview really well. I'm a very linguistically sound person, and I know I have a very large vocabulary, and I know I interview well, and that is, one of the privileges that I do have um, is my intellect. And with that, we generally get to the end of the interview, and if the interviewer hasn't asked about, my disability, it's almost like the pink elephant in the room, right? Because, according to the ADA, employers are supposed to provide provide reasonable accommodations. Now, the thing is, if I bring it up and tell them, what exactly I need, or what I need to bring with me to work, which includes, an assistant, obviously, as well as a wheelchair, everything else that I have on me. It often turns into this awkward silence, which obviously gets really frustrating, um, particularly for me, because, our society in general doesn't know how to treat disabled people. They view us as these oddities that come out of nowhere sometimes, and it, um, it gets draining. It gets really draining on me from time to time. Um, and so often, I'll hear from, the HR person, well, let me talk to our HR manager and see if we can provide accommodations for you. Under the ADA, the word reasonable is highlighted. And employers don't necessarily have to provide accommodations for their employees if the employer does not deem it reasonable. Now, I say this, and I'm talking about this because several of the jobs I've applied for, I'm super qualified to do. And if we just thought outside the box for location sometimes, sometimes the way I provide therapy, so on and so forth, it would be accomplished. However, our system has created this almost mind lock where employers can't think that far outside the box. No, they can't think, what can this guy do? How can this guy showcase his skills within our company? Um, and I want to bring up one final example of what actually happened to me. It's been about like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, maybe 7 years ago. Yeah, time flies. Um, to where I was applying for jobs, and I applied at a drug rehabilitation clinic. Of course, on paper. Once again, oh, we're super impressed with your resume. We're super impressed with your experience. We want you to come in for an interview. I come in, and I meet with, I think there were 5 or 6 people from the team interviewing me. And, I interviewed really well, answered all the questions. And one of the team members stepped out and thought they had closed the door behind them, when in fact they didn't. And I heard the HR person come up to them. And the HR person said, well, what do you think of him? What do you think of our candidate? And that therapist said flat out, well, he's really qualified and I really like him, but I don't know what our clients will think of him. I'm gonna be honest, that stung. That really stung. I walked out smiling, head high. Of course, I never heard back from them. So, I guess I just want to highlight some of these experiences to kind of show you, even if a disabled person tries to do better, how often we get kicked down. If you're not able, you can't provide capital for us without us spending too much on you, then you're not worthy. So I hope you're all doing well. Just wanted to share that with y'all. Hope you're having a great night. We will see you soon.